Welcome to the Decompression Chamber. My name is Andrea, and joining me this week is Al, a Navy veteran. Really excited to have him on. How are you doing today, Al?
Not too bad, thanks. Surviving this rain out my way. How
Yeah,
about you?
about the same. We had some rain as well. Are you upstate or where are you at?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I'm actually Newark, New York.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
So,
Yeah. It was a few thunderstorms today, but it was all while I was indoors. It was dry by the time I had to head home. Thank God. So
very
awesome.
good.
So, are you from upstate originally?
Yes, yeah, born and raised Syracuse.
Okay, nice, nice. And what was growing up in Syracuse like?
Well, this is back in the 70s. We had a lot of fun, neighborhood kids. We'd get together and cops and robbers, guns, slingshot wars, crabapple wars. We had a hill behind our development where wintertime we'd ice it down and
Oh hell
go
yeah!
sledding and survive it. The things you can't do nowadays, we were able to survive. So
Well, yeah, all the things that sound like just a blast, and you never see kids doing anymore. Like,
no, it's sad.
yeah, I mean, even sledding, something that's high velocity, and icing it down. I mean, we're talking spraying cold water on it, salting it down. I mean, stomping it
Yep.
down, packing it down, turning that, yeah, just into a,
Yep. Make the
yeah.
jumps, go flying, miss the safety area, and hit the road, and hopefully, car wasn't coming by. All that good stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe you'd have the foresight to put a spotter down there, especially after you lose a couple of kids. But get
No,
to
we weren't.
safety when you
We weren't
can.
that, yeah, we weren't that smart.
That sounds like an awesome childhood, though. Like anywhere where it snows and you can have a little sledding hill or something like that is pretty sweet. I missed out on that, but uh,
Yeah.
awesome. So, growing up, did you know anyone, have any family in the military, or what were you thinking?
Yep. No, actually, my family. God, I couldn't even give you an accurate count how many were in the military. Father,
Oh wow,
many cousins, uncles. My great grandfather was in. So
wow.
we come from a line of military individuals.
That's awesome. Now, my dad was in the military too, but it was before I was born. Was your dad still in when you were growing up?
No, he was a Korean vet,
Okay. Wow.
and then a cousin in Vietnam.
Wow.
Uh, so I missed those when I was born. Finally,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, growing up in the 70s. Yeah. Hopefully you missed Korea and Vietnam,
yeah,
unless you've
yeah.
discovered time travel. Um, but wow, yeah, that's pretty impressive. What branch was your father in?
He was also Navy. A couple uncles were Army. Another uncle was Marine Corps.
Awesome.
I guess kind of like a second cousin was Air Force. So we've been scattered amongst all of them.
Ah, it sounds like it. Yeah. Well, and yeah, the person who hit Air Force is probably early in the pipeline of that particular branch too. So,
Yes, yeah, we used to pick on them whenever it gets around. It's like, oh, don't scuff your nails. Be careful.
well, yeah. Imagine if someone from someone joined the Space Force in your family now, it'd just be like, oh God,
Yeah,
you better look up to your second cousin who was in the Air Force, a real branch.
exactly. I have to give them credit for that one.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Okay, so you had it all around you. I mean, did you think about joining when you were growing up? Did you think of it as like an inevitability, or were you trying to avoid it?
No, I never really thought of it till I was older. When the neighborhood kids, we'd all get together. Back then, it was the big Bigfoot thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were all wanted. We it was all about seeing Bigfoot, hunting Bigfoot. That's what we expected. We wanted to do one day. Oh
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
It's it's a tough career to do. Especially before reality TV or anything like that. It's
yeah.
not real lucrative.
No, it certainly wouldn't have been. So I'm glad it didn't pan out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you have any early successes hunting for Bigfoot or any relied upon techniques?
Yeah, no, we just go up to the same hill, every day, and yep, there's nothing, and have a snowball war or throw rocks at each other and go home. So
That's all
never
right.
really discovered anything.
Well, but hey, you had consistency, which I think is an early, sign of possible success. That consistency is key. So
Totally.
did you join then right out of high school, or did you wait a couple years? What was your path like?
Actually, 1 hour after I graduated high school, I was gone.
Whoa, that is one hell of a delayed entry program.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I recall as I was walking up to get my diploma, my recruiter was standing off to the side, and I could see him waiting. So
Yeah. Wow. So what all did he have to say? Did he have to tell any lies to get you to sign, or you pretty much knew senior year you're out of there?
yeah, I was all for it. For me, at first, I was thinking the Army,
Yeah,
but then I always had a weak spot for the battleships of the Navy.
for sure.
Love the ones. So I was like, no, I got to try to get on a battleship,
Nice.
and that secured it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, I mean, recruiters, they might kind of put the bug in your ear one way or the other, but eventually, people kind of come to their own decision, or it's a draft. But you and I both avoided that, thank God.
Yes.
But all right, so then, what year is it then that you're joining? Because then there would have been three boot camps, right?
Yes, so it was 89 when I joined.
Okay, yeah. So you had
So,
Orlando, Great Lakes, and San Diego.
yep, and I went to San Diego.
Oh, lucky you. Is that where your A school was? So that's why they sent you there?
Yes.
Ah,
Yep.
okay.
Loved it out there. That
Hey,
was
who wouldn't?
beautiful.
Now, had you ever been outside of Syracuse, or that was your first?
Yes. No, I
Okay,
went down to Florida, did
nice.
the Disney World.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually that was it. Just that I did 2 trips before I graduated down to Florida. That was the only time I've left the state.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, still, yeah, you're seeing Orlando, so it's like, please don't send me to boot camp there. Been there, done
Yeah.
that. I saw the better part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, awesome. All right, so you get out to San Diego. You get through your A school, of course, radio
Yep, radioman.
communication, radioman. Okay, and do they put you on a ship? Does your wish come true, or how does that work?
So we put in our request because they gave us a sheet, where would you like? So we had 3 choices, and mine was a battleship, battleship, battleship.
Of course.
And of course, at the completion of RMA, our assignments are posted, and I'm going to an FF out in Newport, Rhode Island.
Ah, okay.
I was like, okay, it's a warship, it's not a battleship, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, so you head back to the East Coast. Now, going back a little bit, did you choose radioman, or the Navy says, we got something for you? Here you go.
No, I chose it. From the ASVAB score, they laid out all jobs that I was qualified for the exam. And after reading them, I was like, With radio, it talked about top secret material, top secret clearance.
Pretty cool.
So, of course, yeah, then it's like, oh, is this kind of like James Bond? Oh, this could be interesting. So
Yeah,
I
of
was like, yeah,
course.
I'll take that. So that's how I did it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so then you get back out to Rhode Island. What's 2 year orders then, or did you
Yep.
serve
It
your?
was,
Okay.
well, it was actually, I was assigned to the ship, and if it didn't get decommissioned, I could have stayed there the whole sea tour of 4 years,
Oh, okay.
which would have been great because I loved Rhode Island. I fell in love with it. I was on the USS Trip FF 1075.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I arrived, it was building 1075 because, as they say, it was broke dick.
Ah,
And
yeah.
finally got it operational, and we were gone, always out to sea. So it
Oh, that's
was great.
well, yeah. Especially, I mean, yeah. If you want to be on a ship, I mean, can't really beat it. You nailed it.
Need to be out there. Need to be out there.
So,
So
yeah, you're out to sea. I mean, how did you hit any ports, or was it just out for training exercises?
oh no,
What was it like?
we man, let's see. Well, we wound up doing 4 counter-narcotic tours down in South America. So we head back over to the West Coast, went through the Panama Canal,
All right.
uh, Gitmo, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Aruba, Barbados, Bermuda, St. Thomas, Ecuador, And like I said, we were in and out over on the west side, so we hit Panama 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot down in the Caribbean and the tropics. So
Oh,
it
that's
was,
great.
yeah, it was awesome.
Go through your shellback ceremony.
Yes, man,
All
certainly
right.
did. At that.
What is that like in the early '80s or late '80s, early '90s?
So we started out on the forecastle. Ship was turned into the wind, and we were sprayed nonstop with the fire hoses until we were completely drenched, then a little bit more.
Of
And
course.
then, of course, it was great. We had to crawl on the non-skid down the
Ah,
passageways. Yeah, that was fun.
ouch.
And then it was an obstacle course of just various crawling through the garbage, swimming in, God, anything and everything, mixture of milk, coffee, soda, bug juice,
Ugh.
chunks of whatever they found thrown in there. So we snorkeled through that without the snorkel.
Ugh.
Uh, Special
Jeez.
cases, you were branded SC on your back, hanging out on kind of like a cross,
Yeah.
and you whipped for a bit, and then you'd present yourself to Neptunus Rex, asked to carry on, eating some of the most vile food that they could come up with.
Ugh.
All good times.
Yeah, hazing gets such a bad rap, but like, there's just some traditions you gotta do it.
Have to, had to.
Yeah, of
I
course.
could. We had a couple guys that refused. I'm like, are you? This is a once in a lifetime. You got to do this.
Yeah, yeah. What's going on? You know, I don't know. Modern day, I would probably imagine more people are doing that. Like, no, I don't. I'm special. I don't have to do this. But it's like, this is a rite of passage, like going down through centuries. I don't know if you noticed, like some of our job titles, like machinist mate, everything ending in mate. It's borrowed from the
Mm-hmm.
British because like our Navy roots go back that far. Yeah, I I was in the Navy, but I only drove small boats. I never got to be on a big ship, never got to do a shellback ceremony. And it's like,
Oh,
I'd have done
sorry.
it. That would have
Yeah,
been awesome. A lifetime of
so worth
pride.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
And just like, I mean, I can remember a couple of my shipmates when they got their first advancement. Tack that stripe on you. Don't touch me. Don't hit me. Or Eastwas. Nope, nope, don't touch me. Nope, don't hit me with it. Nope, there's a backing for it. So it's like, come on, this is something. You'll be a part of history for God's sakes.
Yeah, yeah. I'll respect people's boundaries, but it is kind of like, man, seeing that tradition just is,
Yeah,
yeah, it's sad.
I think it was more important for me coming from a family of military.
Oh,
So
yeah. Well, that's the
so
thing.
like
I grew up on my dad's stories, and I'm just like, I cannot wait to kidnap people with warrant officers. Like that was just my conception of the military.
yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, and especially, I'm sure the commercials you had in the late '80s about joining the Navy, seeing the world. I mean, you really did that on your first tour. That's
Yes.
that's pretty awesome. I mean, from graduating high school and leaving for boot camp, one and the same in a period of time, to actually, going out on your first underway. I mean, how much time are we talking?
Let's see. That was June to December. I arrived out in Newport mid-December, and then I would say maybe March
Oh man,
we
yeah,
headed
that's
out.
quick.
So yeah,
Yeah.
headed up to North Atlantic for some trials.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, going through South America and all that. How long is that tour? I mean, 6 months, 9 months?
We were doing anywhere from 4 to 5 months for those.
Okay.
So we were in and out. We were swapping out with other ships with the different grid patterns that they set up. There's actually quite a number of ships involved with that. So that way it wasn't oh God, here we are and trying to catch drug runners, so nothing's going on. So but they pop us in different areas and then we go back to port for a bit and come
Okay.
back out.
Oh,
So
that's fantastic. And of course, you're radioman. I'm sure hearing all sorts of James Bond top secret squirrel communications.
oh yeah, had some good stuff come in. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was good.
That's great. So then like you said, you were on 2-year orders there, so you had another duty station, another ship after that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we decommissioned in '92.
Okay.
We sold the ship to the Hellenic Navy,
Huh. Go
which is
figure.
unfortunate. Yeah, and now, well, if you check YouTube, it's on the bottom of the ocean. They had a main
Oh,
space
they.
fire,
I
sank
guess
it.
they're
And
not
it was
very good sailors then, huh? Who knew?
unfortunately, when they were pulling out of Newport with our ship, we were watching them toss some of the firefighting equipment overboard. The P250 dewatering pumps, things of that nature. We watched them get kicked over, and we found out down the road there was a main space fire, and they couldn't
Yeah.
put it out,
Imagine that.
and
Wait,
became a
why would
target for.
they
So
throw that stuff over the side? Are they that
I couldn't tell you.
just it's too much
Yeah,
weight? I can't even do the think of what the right accent would be for that navy.
yeah,
I
no
probably
clue.
shouldn't keep it YouTube friendly. Uh yeah, that is just so disappointing because you have such great memories of that ship. Especially in your case. Now, obviously, you hear a lot of horror stories, especially like about the carriers, the USS Misery, the USS Enter Prison, the Shitty Kitty. All these derogatory names for these carriers. But a smaller ship, you have a great time. It's a lot of fun, and then you just see someone take it over, and they just totally fuck it up.
Yeah, and it's gone. Yeah, it was very upsetting. I mean, we made some good friends with some of the Greek sailors over there,
Good.
and it's like, what the fuck, guys? Come on.
Yeah,
You know?
don't you have a proud sailing history? What happened? Did you not progress from that time? Or
Because I mean, between firefighting equipment and the halon systems, it's like I can't imagine how or what happened to it.
That's
So,
just a shame. Now, did you stay in Rhode Island after that was decommissioned, or
sadly, I went to Weapons Station Earl, Close Neck, New Jersey on an AE.
uh, anywhere in New Jersey? You're just like,
No.
you couldn't send me to Virginia.
Well, originally, my orders were to go to the Ticonderoga,
Oh, nice.
so down in Norfolk. So I was like, oh, yeah, cruiser, okay.
Yeah.
And something happened, and my chief was like, nope, you're going to Jersey.
Mm.
At first, I laughed. I was like, yeah, okay, chief, quit fucking with me.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
was going to get 3 schools. 3 schools were lined up.
Oh.
So I was really happy.
Okay.
Nope, something happened above everybody else. And he's like, yeah, you're going to Jersey.
Uh, man, that's. I don't want to say that's a fate worse than death, but that's kind of like, so I guess this is my only enlistment then.
Yeah, well, that's why I try to go OCS. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes.
it was the crew was great. I made great friends, lifelong friends. Um, I like the warship setup, being front line, not in the rear with the gear, so to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, overall, it was a good ship. Jersey wasn't the greatest place,
It's
but
nothing's changed. So.
yeah, no, I don't think it ever will. I mean,
No.
it was just the fact of the thought of going from an FF to a CG with all the schooling and then losing that for an AE, and that was pretty much the end of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Now, when you're trying to go OCS, they still require a 4-year degree back then. Were you going to go back to school, or what were the
no,
rules?
we're going to be going back to school.
Hmm.
So I was like, great, but mysteriously that shit would disappear.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny
I
how
think,
that works.
yeah, I think, God, put like 8 or 10 chits in
Wow.
requesting it. Because, Navy regs, chit's going to be refused.
Yeah.
You at least checked out and you'll know what happened. But
Yeah. No
strangely
follow up.
enough, yep.
Yes. So it sounds like they pretty much had made the decision for you. You were certainly not going to be an officer. Did they make the decision for you that you weren't going to reenlist, or that was ultimately your own?
Well, that was my own.
Okay.
So it was funny because what happened, getting close to the end, I was like, all right, well, I want to go to school.
Yeah.
Let's go to college. So I submitted my GI Bill, got approved to a community college back home.
Great.
7 days before I'm out, there's an opening at OCS. my Divo for me. I'm like, holy Christ, did he come down from heaven and just grant me something?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, my 10 grand's gone. You gonna give it back? He's like, of course not. I was like, no, of
yeah,
course not. Bye. It's
yeah,
like, I'm 2 grand in it. Sorry, I'm done. So
yeah. Too
that
little,
was
too
it.
late.
Unfortunately, it would have been great to spend more time, but
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I don't know. That first enlistment is, boy, that's the real turning point. People talk like 10 years. Okay, do you get in? You know, do you
yeah,
stay in? Do you get out? Mixing up my verbs here, but really, I think the tipping point for so many people is that first enlistment. It's that makes or breaks everything from there. Um,
yep.
Going back to community college, did you know what you wanted to study, or just hey, I'm only fresh out of high school, I'll get my gen eds done, and see what happens?
Nope, criminal justice. That's what I was going for. After our counter-narcotics there, we actually pulled a few thousand pounds of cocaine off a freighter that we saved from sinking.
Wow,
So we
party
linked up
time.
with the Coast Guard cutters. Yeah, oh yeah. It was like, holy shit, guys, we're going back to Gitmo with this one. So
Yeah.
it
What do
was
you?
pretty cool.
It's like, what do you do with the pot and stuff when you catch it? Well, we burn it. Okay, where's downwind when you do
Exactly. Where is it?
that?
There's that incinerator.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, after we pulled in and they were doing their ops to get everything off and all that, and met a couple of feds down there, and they were just shooting the shit about this and that, and it sounded interesting. And
For
one,
sure.
oddly enough, one was a federal marshal, and
Oh.
it's like, huh, I didn't think you guys would be down here.
Yeah.
Figured,
Yeah.
but okay, and that got me really interested in becoming a federal marshal. But then, all right, we got to get the degree and go from there.
Yeah.
So that kind of sparked it for me.
Oh, that's great. So, all right.
So
So you go back to community college. I mean, you're still a young guy. What, 23, 24 by the time you get
yes,
out? And
yep.
going back to community college, was it, straight to a 4 year after 2 years, or what was your educational path like?
Yep. So I went to the community college and knocked out all the bullshit basics. Once that was done, I went to Onondaga Community College in Syracuse, transferred up to Oswego to pick up my bachelor's, and started looking for work.
All right.
So,
How is the job search? I mean, because had you had even like a job during high school, any sort of civilian work, or had
oh
it
yeah,
all been okay?
I was working. What I was doing security work while I went to college.
Okay.
So the best part about that is coming from the Navy. I partied in various parts of this world.
Oh yeah.
So
You can
I
go as
know compared to the kids that I was around, they're like, "Oh, we're hitting the bar Saturday." I'm like, "Cool,
yeah.
gotta work," but hey, that's great, man. You have a good time.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, the local bar compared to doing shots down in Bermuda, it's like, yeah, not a big deal.
I it really is. Like I grew up in California, and I left there before I turned 21, and I never really went back. And full blown alcoholic, drinking all over the world in the Navy and everything. And there, I met up with an old Navy buddy. This is like 10 years ago. We went to like one of the local bars that I remember hearing about as a little kid and like wondering what it looked like, and it was just like, wow, who cares? And like this is like when I'm still at the height of my drinking career. It's like
Yeah,
just couldn't be bothered. I just was not, didn't care. But yeah, I
yep.
get it. Um, so how was the job hunt once you had your bachelor's? How long did that take?
Well, then I also met my ex-wife.
Ah, okay.
So, needs to say, once I finished, she finished uh, 2 semesters before I did.
Hmm.
And then unfortunately, when I was supposed to graduate, the one class I needed was dropped due to something with a professor.
Great.
So I moved out to Rochester, but I had to commute back for one class to finish my degree.
Jeez.
So
How
yeah,
long
that
of a commute
expanded.
is that each way?
Uh, 45 minutes depending on traffic.
Oof.
So yeah, it was a 6 to 9 p.m. every Wednesday.
At least
So
they got it down to once a week.
yeah, so that wasn't too bad. Finally, once I graduated, went out for the Rochester Police Department.
Hmm.
Didn't do well in the exam.
Oh.
Uh, I could handle my own, but I was like, holy Christ, the run's killing me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'm not in the shape I used to be now. So
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I
yeah, that's a
can
little
understand that. Yeah, I hear academies are just brutal. So,
bit. I missed the run, so I was like, well, guess not now.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I wound up having my daughter.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, everything was spinning. I was working construction, and then I worked for a friend of mine,
Hmm.
and he had a oh, cheapers, what the fuck, uh, bending company.
Okay,
So he'd fill vending machines. So I mean, the money was good.
sure.
Yeah, you got a little bit on the books and you got more under. So I was like, all right, well, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And then things were kind of going sideways with the marriage.
Mm.
So moved out of Rochester, moved out to Wayne County, out in Newark, out this way.
Hmm.
And Clyde for a little bit at that time, and things totally went south.
Mm.
I actually got locked in for a corrections officer position with the sheriff's department.
Okay.
But then the divorce came through, and working second shift, I was going to lose my daughter, they told me. So I withdrew.
Ah,
So I was a
jeez.
loser.
Uh,
So yeah, then it went back to doing some construction and bouncing on the side for some extra cash with some friends downtown Rochester again.
yeah.
Having a good time,
Yeah.
partying.
Of course.
Eventually, everything worked out. My daughter's older now, and
Hmm.
I got back into law enforcement. So
Fantastic.
worked out.
And then that's how you know Ryan was through corrections, right?
Yep, yep. Probation.
Yeah, probation. That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he said that you had a particularly good story about room clearing.
Hmm. I'm not sure which one he's referring to, but the one I think I think he's thinking of, we had a training scenario where
Hmm.
we had BOCE students come over,
Okay.
and they were able to play different parts. So at times they played the bad person, and we had an individual who was being held hostage.
Hmm.
So we had airsoft guns. That's
Of
how we were
course.
using 6 millimeter pellets. So we come up to the situation, and the students got the gun to the other student's head. I'm going to kill him, going to kill him. And I'm like, well, everybody calm down.
Hmm.
And I'm like, so for you, what's going on? What the fuck do you care? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, just trying to see what's happening. So just as she pulled the gun away, I decided to shoot her with the. So it was a good kill. It was a good hit. But my instructor, he's like, yeah, that's where we kind of withdraw and get a negotiator in here. We don't shoot them.
You're like, really?
I
I
was
was going to declare it mission accomplished. Everyone
no,
else in the stick good with this?
I was like, but we had, the shot was there. The gun was up in the air a little bit, not near the person. It was a perfect opportunity. He goes, yeah, no, we don't do that. So I was like,
Oh,
okay,
man. Do I still get
sorry.
a passing grade?
I know. So yeah, we had some good times with Ryan. Uh,
Oh, that's
he did
great.
some clearing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like it. Yeah, anytime you get to play with airsoft, it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And, and it was great because we'd jump out the window, come around. The kids weren't thinking about anything like that, and start tagging them from behind, and they're like, "What the hell?" And yeah,
Yeah.
all kinds.
Oh,
It's definitely a lot of.
yeah, you guys get a little bit of practice with this stuff. You're creative. You think about it all the time. They're just kind of thrust it. Okay, you're gonna do this. Okay,
Yeah,
and then they just get nuked. They get shot in the face by.
it was great. Ryan did really well. He did good too.
Oh,
He
yeah,
went very.
good, good. Yeah, well, you guys are training. I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. There's questions sometimes about some people, but
Of course, yeah, there's always people you wonder about, and maybe when the occasion arises, they will too. Um, and so, are you still in probation or?
yeah,
Okay,
still in probation. I
awesome.
like uh, I like the fact of being able to help some people sometimes. I think back to when I was young, did a couple of stupid things, got in trouble, and
Oh yeah,
bad choice. And some people the same way, just need a little guidance. They do well. Others, uh, put him in jail.
Yeah, yeah. I put him in jail, or you're probably seeing them again at some later date.
Yep. Repeat
Um,
offender.
yeah, yeah. Well, and especially with New York, I mean, it seems like there's a lot more reoffenders running around out there. Is that certainly the case up your way?
Oh yeah, that bail reform. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's come out and it's annoying as hell.
It sounds like it. I mean, did that really bump up your workload 3 years ago, or what effect did it have?
No, actually, it started to clear things. There,
Hmm.
instead of some people need help, plain and simple.
Yep.
But instead of giving them the probation, they'd be like, "Well, you know what? Here's a discharge, a conditional discharge. You don't do anything for 6 months. Slap on the wrist, you're free." And it's like, this guy's got a mental problem. He needs a little bit
Yeah,
more help than that. But
but they don't see it that way. Amazing.
no, yeah, sad.
Yeah, that's disheartening. Frightening, in
Yeah.
fact, you might say.
Very
Great.
much.
Yeah, I was on a train this morning. In between cars. People aren't really supposed to go between the subway cars. They do all the time, whatever. And I was looking outside, and there's a guy between the cars. He's like starting to disconnect the safety chains, and he's smoking crack, and just going like, "Well, we all saw what happened the last time a mob
Uh,
confronted a crazy guy. I'm just gonna tweet about it. This is this is the best I got." And I mean, he put the chains back, and he eventually got off the train. But it's just kind of it's one of those things where it's like, I hope nothing happens because I got
yeah,
nothing. We're all gonna die. Yeah,
yeah, that's sad.
yeah. Well, I mean, well, especially New York City. I mean, we have bail reform and then high concentrations of mental patients, so we get to see a lot of winners every single day.
Mhm.
Now, your daughter, was she ever interested in the military, or did you steer clear of that?
No, zero interest, which I was like, hey, you know what? You figure out what you want to do. Go for it.
Yeah,
You know, if you're interested, awesome. If not, don't worry about it.
yeah, yeah.
Figure out what you like. So I support her no matter what she wants to do.
Good for her.
So yeah, she's doing well. She's a college student.
Fantastic.
She's yeah, she is doing like the stage hands for concerts.
Oh,
She's
okay.
interested. Yeah, she's been on stage with the drama club, the singing, playing instruments, and she always had an interest behind it.
Hmm.
So now it's kind of cool. We go see a concert that she's working at. She gets drumsticks, guitar picks, pictures of various artists, and then she shows me all the electronics in the background,
Oh,
how the
geez.
sound.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's making decent money, and she really loves it. So I was like, hey, go for it.
absolutely. Yeah. Good for her. Yeah. It's yeah, you got to find stuff that you actually want to do, and
Yeah, she's like,
life's too long to avoid that for some reason. Uh Now, if you did know anyone younger who was thinking about joining the military, would you have any advice?
I mean, for me at that time when I went in, it was great for me. I wasn't heading down the right roads. I was not a scholar by any means in school.
Mhm.
Spun me around 180 degrees
That's great.
and put me on the right path. Nowadays, I've heard some stories of you can't yell at people, you can't grab them. Like the ghost locker. You get called in there if you're not working for them, you're about to get your ass beat.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's straightened out a lot of guys that came out of the ghost locker.
Absolutely.
But I hear you can't do that. So
Yeah,
you
it's
I don't
yeah.
know.
I we could definitely yell at people. Uh I mean, I hope so. I did all the time. But yeah, you couldn't touch them. And it's just like, what? Even even though when I was going through boot camp, it's not like they were hitting anybody or whatever else, but it just when they oh yeah, the recruit division commanders, they can't touch you. What? That just sounded like crazy.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like, well, yeah, aren't they supposed to be like whacking people if there's an unsafe condition at least, like something exigent circumstances, but nothing
yeah,
nothing of the sort. Yeah. Um,
I mean, that's disturbing due to the fact that you may go against somebody, and their intentions, to maybe finish you. And here we're worried about safe spaces, and it's like, no, you got to understand if you're not used to the physical contact at times, or getting mashed.
yeah.
God help you, I guess.
Right. Right. Yeah. I kind of try to talk people out of it. I not that I run into too many people thinking about the military, but uh yeah, I mean if it was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to run some training exercises, like you did." I mean, great life experience. You go see and experience some different things, but I've just seen so much poor leadership, yeah, the chain of command is going to be a poor steward of the precious resource that is the newly enlisted recruit that
Yeah.
I'd probably try and talk some people out of it unless they just had like a master plan of where they wanted to go in life, and this was a good way to get uh, an education voucher to attend a leftist indoctrination center or something. All right, I'm cynical.
Yeah, it's. Oh no, I mean, I'm off. You know what? You got to get hard on. You have to have that person in your face screaming at you. And one of the worst days I remember when we were mashed, we did what they call Vietnam in the
Hmm.
showers. Pea coat on, raincoat on, fall weather gear on, your cap and everything. All the showers are on hot only, so it's steaming in there. You're going in there, get marched around, and you're doing your push-ups in it.
Ugh.
They're just jumping the shit out of you, and you're practically falling out as you're
Yeah.
just drinking from just everything in there. But to break you down, you got to get built up and built up the right way. And some of the things I've heard nowadays, it's like you're not you're not doing any of it.
No, no,
So
it's just very very strange. Very strange
yeah,
and sanitized. Even when I was in, it's not like I was, hardcore. I was 2009 to 2013 and went back, just got out of the reserves last year. And the reserves are
nice.
just a joke. Uh
Yeah.
yeah, we did like a little bit of stuff. Actually, for my 2 weeks one year, they sent me to El Salvador. That
Oh
was so
wow.
cool. Yeah, it was all my old Navy buddies from active duty were down there. It was great. But
Oh
then the last couple years we had COVID, so everything was online. It's like, this is bullshit. Who what am
yeah.
I doing here? This is crazy. So, yeah. Uh I hope the Navy can bounce back, but I don't know. Peacetime Navy, this are already this messed up. Oh boy.
I don't know. I'm glad it's part of my history, but I fear for the future.
Yeah,
I do.
I yeah, you and me both. We got our time in while it was still good, and have those
Yes.
memories and just kind of sit and bite our nails.
That's about it.
Yeah, but
So
awesome. Well, Al, I really appreciate you coming on. Do you have any parting words or any stories that you wanted to share?
uh geez. I mean, I don't know where to begin with some of them. I mean,
Well, it depends on the statute of limitations if you should or not.
yeah, yeah. Thank God some of those have passed. So, but yeah, thank you for having me on. This was fun reminiscing and things like that. But yeah, I really hope that for veterans, if anybody needs help, that they can get it.
Yes.
I mean, that's huge, huge, huge with me. My biggest, I wouldn't even call it a pet peeve, it's just something that pisses me off, is hearing our veterans be cast aside for
Yes.
others that haven't done anything for this country, and obviously do not have to do anything for this country.
Yeah.
But I work with a couple of vets out this way. A couple I know, I'll stop when I see them out on the streets that they're homeless, and
Hmm.
try to get them whatever I can. But being a vet back in the day, you're proud, and you're good to go no matter what, even when you're not.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if there's anybody that can, if they're hurting, get some help. There's plenty of us that are still hurting that need help, and there's plenty of us that are trying to get those people squared away. So
Yeah.
biggest thing for me, because they're first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always amazed by the community that veterans can create. I joined my local American Legion. The youngest dude there is probably still in his 70s. It's like, yeah, we're all on the same page.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah,
uh
definitely.
it's so funny how that works, and I love the community, and I think that's a great message too. Help your fellow veteran, and yeah, I do you have I mean, obviously a good tip would be, hey, introverted veteran, get over it, start talking to people. But do you
Yeah.
have any uh, specific organizations or tips for folks looking to help out?
Um, just if you know any vet offices out wherever you are, go to them. And you know what? You'll always have your dignity and you'll always be proud. But you know what? You could always just say, "Hey, the fuck,"
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
because and like I said, it takes nothing away. And I think for some, it's going to be difficult because it may feel maybe like it's a sign of weakness, but it's not. That help makes you even 10 times stronger asking
Absolutely.
for that help. And no one would ever look down on anybody for it. Because, sometimes this, the way shit going sucks already, but,
Yeah.
that burden doesn't have to be on you. There's others that'll help you with it. So,
No, fantastic advice. And yeah, because as veterans, we were part of a team. We tackled things as a team. Nobody did stuff by themselves. Maybe they had something they were responsible for, but the overarching mission, if that's what you're up against, you need some more folks in your corner.
yep. And I got a bunch of guys that I'll talk to. Actually, hopefully next month, I'm going to go back to Rhode Island and meet two of my brothers off the trip who are out that way. So
Oh,
it'll be a nice little reunion.
absolutely. I love hearing that stuff. That's great.
Yeah, we've been trying to hook up. I just actually found my best friend finally. He put on Facebook a different name. He didn't put his full name.
Oh,
I had to find him.
of course.
And weirdly enough, after a couple of Navy sites I attached myself to, I saw his photograph. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who the holy shit, it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Why
like,
did
what
you
the
never
fuck,
tell me?
dude?
Yeah,
I know. So it's really good. And hopefully it works out so we can get together and the three of us will reminisce, go back to the base
hell
and
yeah.
see what it looks like.
Oh, that is so cool. I hope you have a great trip. That
Thank
sounds like an absolute blast. Don't relive the Wonder Years too much, and get
you.
picked up.
Yeah, I'm a little old for that now. Unfortunately, the body's hurting, so
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
what I used to do.
That's all right. Well, Al, again, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. It's always so cool to chat up a shipmate, and have a great trip next month. I'm excited for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I had a great time. Anytime, I'd love to do it again.
All right, man. Yeah, sounds like a plan. I'll call you up on that favor.